Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. This is coming up on April 2nd, so pretty soon, about 2 weeks away from when I'm recording this video, and nothing has leaked about it. So I'm kind of going into this with my own opinions, and this video will be very realistic, not pie in the sky type things. So yeah, let me know your Nintendo Switch 2 Direct predictions in the comments, and let's get started. I have my notes here. Nintendo really hasn't told us anything about this Direct. All they've said, I think verbatim, is like a closer look at Switch 2. Obviously, this is the launch, information. Like, this will have all the launch information. This will be the launch Direct for this thing. And when I first heard about this thing, I was like, oh my God, Nintendo is about to give us so many games, so many things. And I think that was my initial hype. I've kind of scaled it back, we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go on, but let's just get started. Okay, so the first prediction, we're going to learn more about this console. Oh my God, what a crazy prediction. No, I think, this is what this Direct is for, right? A closer look at Switch 2. I think we will know everything about this console, the specs of this thing, the storage, the price, which we'll get to later, the release dates, even pre-order information, I think we will hear about in this Direct, as well as a couple of features that are, at this point, rumors, but I think will be confirmed. So I think we will learn about the mouse functionality. So if you didn't know, it is rumored that one of the Joy-Con will turn over and we'll get to be able to use it as a mouse. I actually like that idea. And the other thing is that mysterious C button, the new button on the right Joy-Con, sort of on the bottom. So I think we'll learn about that. I will get into that later on. So yeah, I think it's gonna be an all out, very transparent look at this thing. I think we'll learn that it should be able, like, we're in 2025, right? It should be able to produce 4K, right? Are we at that point now? I feel like I go to the store and 4K TVs are like $300 now. So I think we're at that point. I'm kind of predicting 4K docked, 1080, depending on the game, 1080 in handheld. I think that's kind of standard at this point. So I think those two things will be there in all the features of this console. I know, crazy predictions, right? The next thing, and we kind of saw this a lot, and I'm interested what you guys have to say about this. We kind of saw this a lot in the initial trailer where, they obviously showed what the Switch 2 was, but they showed a Switch 1 in the announcement trailer, which I don't think has ever been done before. And they showed the Switch 1 slowly transforming into the Switch 2. I think they will carry that theme into this presentation, and I think they are going to compare a lot the Switch 1 to the Switch 2. Switch 1, obviously, super successful, and I think they need to nail down the fact that this is a new console, and why should you upgrade? I really think that's their mission in this presentation. So I think, yeah, we're going to get differences on, resolution, graphics, thing like that. I also think there's a good chance that they show off, and this is what I'm hoping, I think there's a good chance that they show off something like Tears of the Kingdom running on Switch 1 and running on Switch 2. I think that would be a very powerful thing to show, especially people that are on the fence whether or not they want to upgrade or not. Showing off a game like, as expansive as Tears of the Kingdom. I'm trying to think of what other game would show well. I don't know, maybe you could showcase something like Animal Crossing, because I think some of the differences are going to be performance, obviously. I think Switch 1 games should run a little bit better on Switch 2. Maybe 60 frames per second can be that benchmark, which I think would improve a lot of games. Load times, I think, will definitely improve. I don't think it's going to be a crazy difference, but yeah, performance, load times, and maybe some upscaling. I think a great game to show that off with would be Animal Crossing New Horizons. Imagine, like, dude, in Animal Crossing New Horizons, there are loading screens, and just to get into the game is like 2+ minutes. Showing off Animal Crossing running on Switch 2, maybe in half that time would be a huge impact, I think, for a lot of people. So I do think they're going to continue that trend of comparing and contrasting Switch 1 to Switch 2. And I think they should show off Switch 1 games running on the new system. That would be cool. And it would kind of confirm, even though they've already confirmed it, but for the people watching and didn't know, Switch 1 games can run on Switch 2. I think you need to show that off. So, yeah, I think we're just going to get a big overview of the console. I don't really think there's too much to talk about with the console. It's basically a better Switch 1, but I think there are some features that you still need to nail down, you know? Okay, next up, we're talking games here. Games are the most important part. And again, like I said, when I first heard about this Nintendo Direct, I was like, dude, they're going to show a ton of games. They're going to show like 10 games. They're going to show so many games. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's smart for Nintendo to flood the market with a bunch of their games, because you need to give the consumers a little chance to breathe, right? Like, realistically, you have to buy the console and you're probably going to need to get a game, right? So that's already a lot of money. And depending on if they price the game $70 or not, I don't think they're going to flood the market, but I do have some predictions of games they will show. So the first game, no surprise, the new Mario Kart. Now, I was on the fence what this Mario Kart would be called, and at first I was like, oh, it's pretty safe to name it Mario Kart 9 or Mario Kart 10 if you include Mario Kart Tour as being number 9. I think they're going to pull a fast one here. No pun intended, because it's a racing game. I think they're going to call this something like Mario Kart Refueled. I think is like that's definitely a Nintendo name I could see. Mario Kart Refueled. I think that's going to be it. Or Mario Kart, like whatever the gimmick of this game is, it'll be in the title for sure. I think it would be impactful to like name it Mario Kart 10 or Mario Kart 9. But I think they're going to continue this trend of newness. Similar to what they did with Mario Party, right? They didn't name it Mario Party 11. They named it Super Mario Party and Mario Party Superstars. You know, it's kind of like a relaunch of the franchise. So I think, yeah, it'll be called, let's go with Mario Kart Refueled. That sounds kind of cool. They're going to show off things like the 24-player races, which I do think is going to be a separate mode. I think it's going to be a separate online mode. I would hate for that to be the norm. I think 24 racers is too much, but as like a fun gimmick, that's kind of like a cute thing. So yeah, I think they're going to show off the 24 player races. I think they're going to show off new mechanics and sort of like in the name Refueled. If you look at the trailer, there is like a new item box. It's like this orange glowy thing, and it's near like a pit stop. So I kind of think, and a lot of people have said this before, there might be a new mechanic where you have to refuel, as in the name. So I think that'll be sort of the thing. I don't think, my one thing with Mario Kart, they need to keep it simple. You know, Mario Kart should be a game that someone that put 1,000 hours into Mario Kart can pick up and play, obviously. But, you know, your grandpa who doesn't know what a Mario Kart is should be able to pick up the controller and play. I think it should be a casual experience, right? So, yeah, Mario Kart Refueled, they're going to show off all those. They're going to show off some tracks, some characters, and it will be a launch game. I've heard some people say that they don't think this will be a launch game. I think it'll be the launch game. I think it will come out with the Switch too. You'll be able to buy it day one. We'll talk about launch date and stuff in a little bit. But yeah, Mario Kart Refueled. Kind of exciting. I also think they will showcase the characters a lot. Kind of, you know, not calling it Mario Kart 9 or 10. I think it's going to be a sort of reboot for the franchise. We've already seen in the trailer that they've redesigned characters like Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong looks vastly different. So I think they're going to show off some of the characters. And I wouldn't be surprised if they throw in some more Nintendo characters, similar to what they have now with the Inklings from Splatoon and Link. I almost forgot Link. And there's probably someone else. I don't know. But I think you might see like a Kirby, right? Or you might see like I don't know, Professor Egad. Yeah, you're going to see some weird characters in there. I think that's fun. They should keep doing that. The next game, hear me out. I think Nintendo will launch a casual game similar to a Wii Sports, or on the Wii U, Nintendo Land, or on the Switch, 1-2 Switch. They seem to always do this, where they announce a casual type game, and it kind of does a few things, right? Like, it gives you a cheaper sort of casual option at launch, and these games are just to kind of show off the new gimmicks of the console. I like my idea here. I think they will come out with a Mario Paint-like game. I think it'll be called Mario Workshop, or Mario's Workshop, or Mario's... I don't know. I think Mario Workshop is really cool. And I think this game is going to be a budget price. I think it's going to be like $30. Maybe I'm wishful thinking here, but it makes sense to do like a budget option. And I think this is going to kind of focus around the mouse, the new option on the Switch 2 that we think is coming. But yeah, I think it's going to be like a Mario Paint type thing. So it's going to be kind of like a mini game collection, or like an activity collection where you can do, like, you can draw like in Mario Paint. You can do maybe some other, I don't know what you can do. There'll be mini games. There'll be motion control games. It'll be your casual experience. I like the idea of doing like a Mario Workshop, especially it's Mario's anniversary this year. So I think that kind of makes sense. So that will be at launch also. Now here's kind of where things fall apart. I'm not too sure about this next one. I'm very sure about Mario Kart. I'm very sure about Mario Workshop or something like that. Metroid Prime 4. I've been on the fence about this because I think it would be the perfect third game. You get your multiplayer game with Mario Kart, you get your casual budget game with Mario Workshop, and then you have Metroid Prime 4. The manly game. The game that shows off the graphics. The game that shows off what this console is capable of. I think it would be a good idea to show Metroid Prime 4. I'm very on the fence though, you know, I don't know if they show Metroid Prime 4, I don't think it's going to release with the console. I think it'll be like a month later. I would also love this game to have multiplayer. I know Metroid is all about the single player, and that's fine. You can have both. But I think a multiplayer shooting game at launch or around launch would be a huge success. So I think they have a big opportunity there. I'm going to tentatively say Metroid Prime 4. And guys, that's it. I think that's all Nintendo is showing. Now, this Direct is going to be in April 2nd. I do think, they might not mention it in this, but I think we're going to have another Direct in June, which is only 2 months away from the time of this Direct. That'll be where you get things like Splatoon 4. I think Splatoon 4 is coming out this year, but I don't think they should launch with that because you already have Mario Kart. You already have your multiplayer game. So yeah, that Direct will show off some big announcements, like your 3D Mario, your Zelda game, like Zelda Remake, you know. So I think there will be a Direct in June, but those 3 games, I think that's all Nintendo needs to show. Again, I think less is more sometimes in these scenarios. Like, this should be about the console and the launch window. Anything past that, we'll save that for the summer Directs and future Directs. So I think that's going to be it from Nintendo. There will be other games, though. I think they will have a third-party sizzle reel. So these aren't going to be games that Nintendo formally announces or even says the name of. I think you'll just see these games in a sizzle reel running on the Switch 2, or maybe some quick trailers with title cards that come up, but nothing formal. So what could those games be? I have a few written down here. I would love to hear yours as well, but I think something like Elden Ring, I think Red Dead Redemption 2 makes a lot of sense, and the newest Doom game. Those are all like mature offerings. I think they fit nicely with maybe the more casual offerings Nintendo will have at launch. Obviously, we're going to get a ton of third-party announcements. I wouldn't be surprised if we see like a Just Dance in this sizzle reel. You know, I'm trying to think of like the partners Nintendo has and work with quite a bit. Ubisoft, Capcom. You might see, you know, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero in there. But I think we're going to get a sizzle reel, and some of those games will be available at launch. That's my first page of notes. So that's pretty much going to be the Direct. Those are my predictions for the Direct. I do have some other announcements, though, and I don't know if these will be... Well, some of these will be in the Direct, but I don't know. So let's start off with this. I think we will get pre-order information in this Direct. A lot of people are saying that we're not going to hear anything about pre-orders. I think it makes sense to do that, right? We're talking about the launch of the system. Give us information about the launch of the system, right? So I think we will get pre-order information. I was on the fence of whether pre-orders would open that day or at the end of April or mid-April or like, I don't know, a few days after this Direct. But I think we will be able to pre-order this console shortly. So that's another one. Next up, the price. The price. What will it be? I think the Switch 2 will launch at a price of $400 US. I think that makes sense. The Switch released at $300. They have the Switch OLED, which is $350. I think those will get price drops in the future. $400 seems to be pretty fair. And honestly, with inflation and everything, that's more than fair. So $400 is the sweet spot, I think. You're going to get a lot of people that are just no-brainer. Switch 2, $400. I think that's a great price. I do also think they might have another SKU at $449. So $50 more, but it comes with Mario Kart. So you'll have just the Switch 2 bundle, and you'll have a Switch 2... Or no, you'll just have the Switch 2, and you'll have a Switch 2 bundle that comes with Mario Kart for an additional $50. I think that makes sense. So that's my pricing prediction. Would love to hear yours. So I do have something else that I don't know if it will be in this Direct, but Nintendo Switch Online, I think they are going to push this super hard. Now I don't know if this would make the Direct, like I said, but I do think GameCube games are coming to Nintendo Switch Online. I don't know if it would be in this presentation. I was kind of toying with the idea of them adding a different Switch Online tier. You know, maybe a more expensive one that comes with more things. Or they just announce GameCube games, but only if you have a Switch 2. You know, maybe that's added to the expansion pass, but you have to have a Switch 2. Either way, I think they will mention Nintendo Switch Online, but I don't know to what extent. So, yeah. So those are my predictions. Pretty reasonable, right? Like, I didn't really shoot for the moon there. I think a new Mario Kart, a little casual game, and then maybe Metroid Prime 4. Not at launch, but like mentioned. They're going to do a lot of comparing and contrasting of Switch 1 and Switch 2. And then obviously we'll learn about the console and the new gimmicks. Oh, the C button. I didn't talk about the C button. So yeah, that little button that no one knows what it's going to be. I think it's going to be a social button. I think once you click it, it's going to open up things like your friends list, an easier way to send people invites to games, chatting with people, things like that. So I think it's going to be a social button, and it would be kind of cool to show that off with Mario Kart. I think that would be very appropriate. But yeah, that's kind of all my predictions. I don't think I'm missing anything, but my list is on the floor, so we'll never know. Let me know your predictions in the comment section below. We won't have to wait too long. I will be streaming this on the channel, so definitely subscribe for more, and I'll see you then. Bye, everyone.